Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of National Defence.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will be splitting my time with the member from Don Valley West this morning. I rise in this House this morning to tell you, Mr. Speaker, about the progress we've made implementing Canada's defence policy strong, secure and engaged. When we first released SSE back in 2017, we provided a comprehensive list of capital projects, policies and procedures to ensure our military can meet our biggest defence and security threats now and into the future. To help fund these items, SSE also forecasted a steady increase in defence spending from $18.9 billion in 2018 to $32.7 billion in 2026-2027. That's an increase, Mr. Speaker, of 70% to our defence spending. Even prior to COVID-19 pandemic, prior to Russia's unprovoked war in Ukraine, and prior to the myriad of other defence and security challenges we faced over the past 5 years. We were already on track to increase defence spending by more than 70%. While SSE remains our main guide for making sure CAF members are well supported and well equipped, the evolving global security environment has underscored just how important and urgent our investments in defence are. That's why, as both the Prime Minister and Minister of National Defence have indicated, we will be further increasing our investments in defence, including a comprehensive spending package going towards continental defence. With that in mind, Mr. Speaker, I want to give you an update on the progress that DND has made implementing this policy so far, and the work that we're doing to safeguard our country and our continent and support our allies and partners in good times and in bad. Key to these efforts is having a well-supported, resilient workforce that feels safer coming to work every day. When DND launched SSE in 2017, they included several critical initiatives aimed at supporting CAF members and their families throughout their entire careers. This includes developing a total health and wellness strategy with the goal of supporting defence team members' mental and physical well-being at all times. I'm pleased to note that National Defence launched this strategy earlier last month. Over the next several years, they will invest more than $950 million to enhance health and wellness programs and services for defence team members, including expanding the Office of Disability Management by adding more regional offices across the country, providing personalized support services to injured, ill, and impaired public service employees, and improving care for Canadian Armed Forces members who are recovering from an illness or an injury. Through SSE, National Defence has also done important work expanding the services offered to military families through Military Family Resource Centres, and helped address the challenges that come with a life in uniform through Seamless Canada Initiative, which helps to address gaps in service when military families are posted across the country and must navigate new school systems, careers, and healthcare settings. These are just a couple of the initiatives in SSE aimed at supporting defence team members and their families. Mr. Speaker, we know that Canada's position in the world and our safety and security here at home come down to having the well-being of those who serve in it, well-being of those who serve in it. All that we do, from procurement to healthcare to cultural change, must be focused on the people who put service before self, the members of our Canadian Armed Forces. At the same time, we know that our people in uniform need the right equipment to do the difficult jobs that we ask of them. They need state-of-the-art, fit-for-purpose tools that can meet the challenges of modern warfare across all domains. In SSE, National Defence outlined over 300 capital projects critical to our military success and our continued interoperability with allies and partners for decades to come. While the COVID-19 pandemic has certainly contributed to project delays and supply chain disruptions, we remain committed to delivering on these projects, providing the very best equipment for our people in uniform, while ensuring Canada's economy benefits from our defence investments. Despite the challenges of the past 2 years, we are making progress. In fact, since 2017, 75% of the policy's capital projects, that's 258 projects, Mr. Speaker, are in implementation phase, near completion, or completed. And several high-profile projects kept moving forward even as much of the world shut down. Just last week, the Minister of Public Service and Procurement and the Minister of National Defence announced that Canada was moving into the finalization phase of the future fighter competition with Lockheed Martin and the U.S. government. If an agreement is successfully reached, Canada could see initial aircraft deliveries as early as 2025. This is the most significant investment in the Royal Canadian Air Force in over 30 years, Mr. Speaker. So we've been taking the time. We need to get this right and ensure we're purchasing the right jet with the right value for CAF and for Canadians. We've taken this same careful, considered approach to building our fleet of Arctic and offshore patrol ships for the Royal Canadian Navy. The first of these ships, HMCS Harry DeWolf, has already participated in missions like Operation Inuk and Carby and transited through the Panama Canal. It also recently completed a circumnavigation of North America, Mr. Speaker, the first Royal Canadian naval ship to do so since 1954. The second ship, HMCS Margaret Brooke, has completed the ship's icebreaking and Arctic environmental trials and will return to Arctic waters to participate in the maritime portion of Operation Inuk this summer. The third, fourth, and fifth AOPs are in various stages of construction, with the construction of the sixth AOP expected to begin later this year. As we deliver on these critical projects for our Navy and Air Force, we are also delivering on our promise to provide the Canadian Army with a fleet of 360 armored combat support vehicles. These vehicles have been designed to replace our current fleet of LAV-2 Bison and M113 tracked LAV fleet. They are more mobile with longer operational range, better equipped to conduct operations at night and in bad weather, and safer for our people in uniform, offering improved protection against weapons and explosives. The first of these vehicles are expected to be delivered to the Canadian Army later this year, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the investments under Canada's defence policy ensure we deliver the equipment, infrastructure, and innovation to help our military advance our national security objectives and interests. But they're also critical to our national prosperity, resilience, and economic well-being. As the largest federal employer, National Defence and the Canadian Armed Forces have a significant presence in every province and territory. So investing in defence also means creating more jobs and generating economic benefit for communities from coast to coast to coast. These investments also mean that we're better positioned to support our allies and partners across the globe, including those under threat from Russian aggression. Through SSE, we're committed to remaining engaged in the world now and into the future, Mr. Speaker. Supporting Ukraine in its fight for freedom and self-governance, standing shoulder to shoulder with our NATO allies on Operation Reassurance and Operation Impact, both of which we recently extended, and deploying wherever and whenever CAF support can make a difference. In times of global uncertainty, we know our mutual relationships are even more important, and our SSE investments will help us remain effective and a reliable, stable partner within NORAD and NATO for decades to come. Mr. Speaker, when we launched Strong, Secure, and Engaged back in 2017, we made sure it was flexible enough to deal with a rapidly evolving defense and security environment. That means while there are certain challenges that DND and CAF could not have anticipated, chiefly the global pandemic, they've remained ready to respond and had the flexibility to adjust timelines accordingly. As we continue discussing ways to increase defense spending, this policy will remain our government's roadmap, enabling us to strengthen our defenses here at home and help uphold peace and security across the globe. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.